Hey everyone, I am with Lindsay today, who is a previous client and currently, how many weeks pregnant are you?
35 weeks.
35 weeks. All right. I just want to thank you for joining me today because, one of the hardest things about working with women preconception is that, I don't always get to share immediate results of my clients for privacy reasons. And understandably so. Like, there's so many unknowns when it comes to pregnancy. I don't even think I shared my own pregnancy publicly until probably at least 16 weeks. So, totally get it. But Lindsay is far enough along that she felt comfortable sharing her journey a little bit with us, and everyone's journey to parenthood is unique. But I think we can also find a lot of similarities in other people's stories as well, so we don't feel so alone. And so I'm really appreciative of Lindsay's time today, and I'd just like to start um, with you maybe sharing a little bit about your story, what led you to explore more support or working with a health coach on your conception journey.
It's a long one, but I'll keep it really, really short. I My husband Eli, I'll refer to Eli as just he's Eli, my man's. So Eli and I started to trying to start a family back in February of 2020 before everything shut down in the world. And we found that we were basically trying from like February until June, and we took some time off in between because we were like, what kind of baby or like what kind of world are we bringing a baby into with like COVID and everything. So there was like maybe 1 month where we didn't try because it was just scary, a very scary time. But we were trying from February until June with really no luck. I was using an app to track my cycle, which was just like a flow. It was like the flow app, which really I didn't put like enough parameters in there for it to even tell me when I was accurately ovulating. I just thought, well, everybody ovulates on the 14th of the month because it's a 28-day cycle or like whatever, however many days your cycle is. So we did end up getting pregnant in June of 2020. And actually, literally 2 years to the day,
Oh,
I had a miscarriage. So we took a test in July and it was positive. We were so excited. I went to my 8-week appointment today, this day, 2 years ago. And the tech told me there was nothing there to see and that I had miscarried the baby. Obviously, as you can expect, it was extremely traumatizing and horrible. And for anybody who is going through that, there's really no words to say to make you feel better, except that it just gets less sad more than anything, but it's really, really difficult
mhm.
to go through. So we went through that. I had to get a DNC, which is or a D&E, where they go in and they remove the products of conception from your uterus. It's a very easy healing process, and physically very easy, emotionally very difficult. About 5 months go by, and I still haven't got my period. My father-in-law, who's a doctor, was like, "I'm going to refer you to a reproductive endocrinologist." Who is a fertility doctor. He did a scan on me and was like, yep, just what I thought. There are products of conception in your uterus still. The doctor didn't, it was an incomplete DNC. So my body thought it was pregnant from when I had conceived until mid-December, which is also an important date as well. It was like around like Christmas time. That foreshadows. So then I got another surgery. And after that, the reproductive endocrinologist, the fertility doc was like, super easy. You're going to get pregnant really fast. He had me on all these hormones. Following the surgery, he was like, I did everything right. Everything looks great. And that was in, basically Christmas time, 2020. Fast forward, it's now June, and my uterine lining is extremely thin. It's just my body is just not agreeing with any of the medication that the doctors are giving me. And that's when I decided to really start to take things into my own hands. I think it was like May, June of
Hmm.
2021
Yeah, when we started.
when we started. And I had said, you know what, this is like, now is the time that it's like, I've been putting all this trust into my doctors, and I need to take control. I'm unhealthy. I'm not eating healthy. I'm not eating enough. I'm malnourishing myself. I'm not physically active. I'm not working out. And like mentally, I'm just not okay. And my husband, Eli, and I were just like also not in a good place because of everything and the pressure. So I started working with Jamie, as well as I went to acupuncture. I like called them like my team of people. I had
Yeah, she put together a whole team. It was awesome. I mean,
it,
not everyone can do that, but if you can, it's definitely, I've always considered myself part of the puzzle pieces, right? I'm not the whole answer.
and it's expensive. I will say it's very expensive, but I was the happiest I had been in a really, really long time. I had a personal trainer. So like that's of course money, but I had the personal trainer. I had Jamie. I was doing acupuncture weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, like twice a week. So it was a lot. And I decided to take a break from my doctor. Unfortunately, a couple months later, I did get pregnant again, but it was an ectopic pregnancy. And an ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy that grows in your, not in your uterus. And
Yeah.
in my case, it was the tubes. Nothing that we did wrong, but I think like that none of my people did wrong, but it's just something that it just happens. And
Yeah.
I was having bad luck. So then we decided to do IVF, and then we got pregnant a month before IVF on Christmas. Literally, we found out the year, exactly the year. So my ectopic pregnancy happened a year after my miscarriage. And then I just think dates are so important. And I think it's so cool, the synchronicities between them. And then we found out we were pregnant basically to the day that I got my second surgery
Yeah.
for my DNC, corrective DNC. And there was in between that, there was so much that happened that I'm sure we'll go into that
Yeah.
I worked with Jamie on.
Yeah. And a little bit about the ectopic during our time working together. I remember you calling me and like, I'm pregnant, and I was like, I can't believe it. And then like the emotions that we both felt when you were like, they confirmed it's in my tube, it's not where it needs to be. And then like the next scan, it was gone. And it was like, what a testament though of your body knowing what to do so that you didn't have to take additional medication that would have prolonged you trying to conceive another 3 months. So it was just like, yes, we don't know why it happened, and sometimes it happens, right? There's no guarantees
The
when
universe.
about pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's just so many unknowns. Um, but just at the same time, like gratitude for your body. Like it did what it needed to do. I remember like us experiencing that together.
I was cleaning out my desk the other day, and I found a post-it note of a mantra that you gave me when I was going through that. And I think it was like something along the lines of like, um, you listened to your body, or you did what your body needed to
Yeah.
do, or your body is working for you, or
Yeah,
something
I
like
think it's
that.
your body is working for you is probably something that I would say.
Yeah, it was like your body is working for you.
Yeah.
Because I remember just being in such a victim mindset with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if I didn't have Jamie just saying like your body is doing what it's supposed to do, because my numbers, they count you down. They want to make sure they're seeing a significant drop in your numbers. And some people, it takes a long time,
Yeah.
and they do have to take methotrexate,
Yeah.
or they have to do the surgery where you can really, really, damage your tube or risk losing your fallopian tube. But when you're going through fertility, you don't want to have to do
Yeah.
that, of course, or the methotrexate, because then you have to wait 3 months to get
Right.
pregnant again. And I just remember that mantra, like repeating it over and over and over again, but also at the same time, rather than like doing what I did when I had my miscarriage and I went into this hole of self-pity and sadness and eating like total crap, I remember I went home that day from my doctor's appointment and I worked out. And I continued to eat healthy and eat the same things and really just truly take care of my body. And
Yeah.
I think that was a huge reason why my body did what it was supposed to do and
Yeah.
got rid of it.
Yeah. I mean, I use the mantra with my son every night when we put his magnesium lotion on. We rub it on his belly and we say, "I take care of my body because my body takes care of me."
Yeah,
And like he doesn't let me say it anymore. Like he has to say it on
he
his own,
says
and I
it.
just
It's
love
so
it. So it's
true.
just something, to think about taking into motherhood too, right? Like the habits that I work on with clients are not just to have you get pregnant and have a healthy pregnancy. It's like, how do you thrive in motherhood too? Like,
Yeah,
how do you be the person you want to be? Um,
after the fact. Mhm.
yeah. So I'd love if you shared with us a little bit about what you found most valuable working with me. And I'll say that Lindsay did a 6-month one-on-one program in addition to, as a one-on-one client, she had access to my group program. So she basically had, weekly coaching sessions and things like that. And so we did a 6-month program.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to really pinpoint one thing. I would say the biggest was just like taking back control of my body and my life, because when you are seeking fertility help, your body is not your own. You
Yeah.
are getting poked and prodded literally with the wand that they stick up there with the ultrasound, or they're poking you with needles to draw blood. Like, your body is not your own, and you just become this, like, I felt like, I don't know if like a zombie is the right word, but I just felt like I was like floating through the halls. It would be like, okay, they call me back, I take my blood, I do my ultrasound, I come back, and I felt like whatever they told me, oh, you're going to take this much letrozole this cycle, you're going to do you're now going to do IVF. Okay, okay, okay. So you just so badly want to start a family, and you so badly want this baby that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And that's like, you're like, you know what, this is in the doctor's hands now. But the biggest thing that Jamie gave me was kind of reclaiming that for myself, and like giving me that power to be able to say, no, 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 this is me. Like, I can take those drugs, I can do all these things, but if I'm not taking care of myself and my body, then it literally all goes out the window. Like, there's no point to it.
Yeah.
Whether I was doing IVF, IUI, or just the medicated cycles.
Yeah.
um, that was, I think, like the biggest thing was just helping me realize that, like, I take control. I control this. This is
Yeah.
me, and I'm controlling my body and like the destiny of this, and
Yeah.
not like being victim, like, well, my doctor said this. It's like, no, you're going to do this. And that was something that you really instilled in me, and
Yeah.
gave me that confidence.
Yeah, everyone who works with me will know that I always say, like, focus on what is in your control, not
Yes.
what you can't control, what is in your control, and we focus on that.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, and like my approach, right? Like I knew you were heading towards IVF, and the approach would have been the same regardless. Like whether or not someone wants to use like artificial reproductive technologies or conceive naturally, whatever your end goals are, my role is to support you where you are in your trying to conceive journey and prepare your body regardless for what's to come.
Right.
And no matter how it's to happen, right? Like I would never stop working with someone just because they want to use IVF or IUI. Like that doesn't make sense, right? The
Right.
goal is to prepare your body so that whatever method you choose will have a higher chance of working.
Yes.
um, yeah, so definitely and
Also,
I knew. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, two things. One other thing was, the entire 6 months that Jamie and I worked together, she was like, you have to give up alcohol. Just stop. Between Jamie and my acupuncturist, they're like, you have to give up alcohol. I was like, I can't. I love it too much. Like, I want my rosé. I want my margaritas. Like, I want my dirty martinis. And the month that I gave up alcohol, I got pregnant. So
Yeah,
there
I
was
will
that.
say on that, it was more of like a, hey, I never tell someone they have to do something. It's like more of a,
Strong
I ask
suggestion.
questions. Yeah, I ask questions to like for you to check in with your body and say like what needs to happen next or what do I want to do, right? My goal is to coach you through like the answers that are already inside you and bring them out. And so it was literally our last session. I was like, "All right, how are we going to move forward? What are you going to do?" And it was you who said, "I'm going to give up alcohol for 30 days." Like you came to that conclusion on your own
Uh-huh.
that that's when you wanted to do it. And yes, lo and behold, you got pregnant that month. But, like also at the end of our session, like at the end of our program and time together, like I knew in my bones, in my gut that you were going to get pregnant naturally.
Well,
Like
and I
I
remember
knew
we
we
were
had limited time because you were going to go start IVF in January, but like I I knew it and I feel like you knew it too.
well, we would talk about it. It
Yeah.
was like I remember I said to you, you were like, well, with IVF, we would do like visualization stuff. And I was just like, Jamie, I literally can't picture
Yeah.
myself giving myself medications.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen for me. And I remember I kept saying to you, I don't know if something's going to happen beforehand that prevents me from doing IVF, whether it's getting pregnant naturally or just deciding maybe adoption is a better route for us, whatever that may be. Like, I was like, I visually don't see this happening. I
Yeah.
want it to more than anything because I want to start a family, but I don't see this happening. And then when Eli and I took the pregnancy test and it was positive, I was like, is that manifestation? Did I just manifest that? Like,
And
and we
yeah.
would talk about it. And I was like, I know this sounds weird, but I just feel in my gut, I'm not going to start IVF. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And that's why my approach is not just body, it is mind, body, soul. Like you
Yeah.
have to be aligned. And like, you talked about your first baby being your career and like that got to a place like right at the time we started working together. And so things just like aligned, right? Like everything has to align.
Yeah.
And I do, my approach is holistic. So yes, we talk about nutrition. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach and that is why you came to me for the nutrition part. But
Nutrition
like
side.
think about how much other stuff we talked about.
Right.
Um so yeah. My last question is just, is there any advice you would like to share in case people are on the fence about, working with a preconception health coach and what advice would you give them?
Yeah. I would say I know that when you're dealing with fertility, there's a lot of money that's thrown at you. Whether you're seeking treatment with a specialist, or you're just starting to think about getting pregnant. There's just so much that's thrown at you. Like you're going to start getting these crazy targeted ads for things of trackers and like wrist things like wearables and all that kind of stuff. But really I think the biggest thing and my biggest takeaway is like it's an investment in you. And I remember talking to my husband about it and we were talking about like I think like we were just thinking back on we might have been budgeting for something and maybe IVF and we were like where does our money go? And I was like my money goes to taking care of my body. My money goes to working with Jamie, to working with Mina, my acupuncturist, to my twice a week personal training sessions. And it goes to the bone broth ingredients that I'm making and the insane amounts of celery juice that I'm forcing myself to drink, which I also stopped the month before I got pregnant. And I got pregnant. I think my body hated it so much. It was like, you just need to stop this.
Yeah.
Um, but the biggest thing is just like, yes, it's an investment, but it's an investment in yourself. And you are going to be so grateful that you did because it's lessons that you can take and it's lessons that you could take with you preconception while you're pregnant and also post. I will admit I have not followed really anything that we've talked about during my pregnancy because this child is sucking me dry of just wanting anything sweet
Hmm.
and dairy. So it's like everything that we talked about is just out the window. But it's a lot of things that when I do after I give birth, while I'm breastfeeding and all of that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It's World Breastfeeding Week.
Yes.
I've been reminiscing and you'll be more hungry then.
Yeah,
So
oh my God, I'm
give yourself
sure.
grace. Give yourself grace
But
during those
hope
first few months.
I mean, last night I woke up at like 1 o'clock, or I should say I fell asleep at 1 o'clock. I couldn't fall asleep by 1 p.m. and I went into my refrigerator, and I'm Jewish. So I had kugel left over that my mom made for me. It's this like noodle dish, whatever. And I'm sitting there in front of my TV eating a massive thing of kugel, which is like noodle, which is everything I shouldn't, gluten and dairy and like fruits and sweets and whatever. But it was so worth it. But anyway, it's my advice is just do it, and you will be so happy that you did. And even if doing the one-on-one doesn't seem like it's the right investment for you, at least doing the group coaching, it just having that support system is so important. And you will be so happy that you did. And then maybe that will lead you into doing the 6 months. It just gives you the confidence that you need
Yeah.
to take control of your body during this process in a time when you feel like you have zero
Yeah.
control.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope people got some value out of this and learned a little bit more about how it works with me to work with me and the value of it. So I really appreciate your time and I wish you the best of luck with your delivery.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.